How's it going, everybody? This is the latest news from Sweden. A local indoor swimming pool complex had to be evacuated after piss smoke triggered the fire alarm. This happened yesterday afternoon at Eddahallen in Skellefteå. The fire alarm went off and the guests had to evacuate the building wearing only their swimwear. The staff at the pool initially had some trouble determining the cause, but after being hit by the cloud of urine, they suspected that someone had peed in the sauna in the men's locker room. If you haven't been to Sweden, most public swimming pools have saunas in the locker rooms, and apparently if you pee on the sauna heater, fumes of urine will rise up and trigger the fire alarm. The whole locker room smelled of piss, a witness told the newspaper Aftonbladet. The fire department responded to the alarm but left shortly afterwards since there was no fire and no immediate danger. This is probably not how the firefighters expected to spend their afternoon. 5.8 million liters of sewage were dumped into Lake Mälaren last weekend. Lake Mälaren in the Stockholm area is a popular place for swimming during the summer, but after heavy rainfall in the area last week led to a so-called overflow in the water and sewage system, 5.8 million liters of untreated wastewater were dumped into Lake Mälaren. That's enough wastewater to fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. This is done to prevent sewage from backing up into people's homes and causing flooding. Ragnar Lagerqvist, an environmental specialist at Stockholm Water and Waste, clarifies that this is not about 5.8 million liters of pure poo, but that the sewage was heavily diluted with rainwater, roughly 9 parts rainwater and 1 part sewage. But this just tells me that 10% of this sludge is straight up shit, about 600,000 liters of it. Lagerqvist also advises people not to swim after heavy rain because of the increased risk of bacteria and other nasty contaminants. A proposal has been made to send out public safety alerts to local residents whenever the water is considered unsafe for swimming. Why they haven't done this already is beyond me, but if you're planning on swimming in a Swedish lake this summer, it might be worth checking whether it's relatively clean or whether it's full of bacteria before you dive in. A 36-year-old man took photos of his ding-dong in a photo booth, left the photos behind for 2 women to find, and stole their orange juice. This was during a cycling event in Sweden where the man saw a photo booth, and since it was free to take pictures, the man decided to take the opportunity to have a little fun with himself. You know how in photo booths you get like 4 photos taken? In the first 2 photos, the man's face was clearly visible, but gradually the subject shifted to the lower parts of the man's body. The last 2 photos were basically photo booth dick pics. The man says that it wasn't his intention for anybody to find the photos, but that he forgot to take them with him when he left the photo booth. Because of this, 2 women working nearby found the printed dick pics and called out to the man as he was leaving. He turned around, looked them straight into the eye, snatched one of the women's half-finished orange juice, and bolted out of there. What makes this even stranger is that earlier that morning, the man had told one of the women that she was beautiful and asked her for how long she would be at the event. And a few hours later, he appeared at the photo booth once again. Because of this, the woman said that the whole incident made her feel uncomfortable and that it felt directed towards her. The man admits to the act but insists that it wasn't intentional. He has now been sentenced for sexual harassment and has been ordered to pay a fine of 2,000 Swedish kronor. All of that for a couple of photos and a half a bottle of orange juice.